Hey guys, so I just want to stop by really quickly and share a dream that the Lord wanted me to share today. I was getting ready for work, and the Lord brought to my remembrance a dream that He had gave me maybe a month or two ago. And so after that, I heard the Spirit of the Lord say, "Release it, release it, release it." And so I'm just coming on here to share what God told me to share. In this dream, it was me and a couple of people, actually several of people that were traveling to Washington, D.C. And me and my husband and my family, we packed up our car and we were headed to Washington, D.C. In the dream, I have no idea. I don't know why we were traveling to Washington, D.C., but me and a couple of other people, we were headed to Washington, D.C. And while we were traveling there, my husband, he was driving, and the car was still going. And me and the kids, we were in the back. It's like we were in a caravan or something. And we were back in the back of the van, and the car is still going. And my husband, he came back there, he was talking to us. And I said, "Why are you back here? Who's driving the car?" And he looked at me, he said, "Oh, I got the car on autopilot. Just sit back and relax." And I'm like, "But who's driving the car? Why are you back here with us?" And he said, "I got the car on autopilot. Just sit back and relax." And I was like, "Okay." And so the car was just sailing. And then all of a sudden, we started going on this roller coaster. And before we knew that we was finna start hitting bumps and humps and stuff, me and my husband, we looked at each other and we was like, "Whoa." And we began to go down and up and down and up. It was like we were on a roller coaster, but in the midst of the roller coaster, we had so much joy. We had so much peace. We were laughing, we were giggling, we were talking to one another. And we kept saying, "This is crazy. I cannot believe we're on this ride." And we were headed to Washington, D.C. Don't know why we were headed to Washington, D.C. It was like we were going to see me and a lot of other people around the world. It was like, how can I explain it? It was like an appointment that we all were going to. Like, everybody knew in the world that, several people headed to Washington, D.C., but it was crazy. And so this morning, when God brought that dream back to my remembrance, He said, "Release it, release it, release it." And honestly, I don't know in this hour right now why the Lord wanted me to release this dream. And I said that to say this. Sometimes when God give us a word, give us a dream, give us, a revelation, it's not always to release it right then. You have to go in prayer about it. Write it down. If you have bad memory, and I encourage you to write anything down that God speaks a word to you, or gives you a dream, because our mind, tends to forget certain things sometimes, and certain details too. You just want to be careful, and you want to just write it down so you will not forget. And so after I had this dream, I told my husband about it, and I didn't have the okay to do a video immediately right then. So, but this morning God just said, "Release it, release it, release it." And I don't know what's going on in Washington, D.C. I'm not a politic of any sort, but I know what God showed me, and I know the dream that I had, and I know when God is speaking to me through dreams. And so, like I said, I don't know why in this hour that the Lord wanted me to release this dream, but I'm just being obedient to Him. And a lot of times when God gives me dreams, it's it's easy to understand them because he interprets them for me, like right on the spot. Like as soon as I wake up, he starts giving me the interpretation of that dream. But this dream, it's not clear to me why we were headed to Washington, D.C. And the words of my husband, and he said it more than one time. Oh, I got this car on autopilot. I got the car on autopilot. Just sit back and relax. And he said it so calmly, and he said it with just peace and joy. And it was like a car, come on now. A car cannot, the car cannot drive by itself without, somebody steering it. It's one thing to put a car on cruise control and you're still steering it, but he left the car running. Like we were headed to Washington, D.C. We were on the highway and freeways and stuff. Other folks was driving as well. And he had the car on autopilot. And he was just like, man, I got the car on autopilot. Just sit back and relax. And so I pray that God gives somebody that's under the sound of my voice that will watch this video, that God gives them the interpretation of this particular dream. And maybe what God is saying in this hour right now. But so I would be praying for you as well. But I just wanted to be obedient to the Lord because he told me to release this dream now. And so I released it. So I just pray you guys have a blessed day, a blessed week, and as always, be blessed.